I was not tired enough, and I did not want to go to bed yet a while. "Come on," I said to Jake, and we looked about us for a theatre, but there did not seem anything much on, though he suggested trying the opera. They were giving Tosca, and I told him to go to hell, so once more we found ourselves in one of those cafe-restaurant places ordering drinks. I did not think much of the nightlife of Scandinavia. Even the Tivoli at Copenhagen was better than this. "We ought to have tried Stockholm," I said to Jake, but he was dragging out his damned map again and did not listen to me, so I kept calling the waiter fellow to bring us more drinks, and then looking around me, but there weren't any girls worth worrying over, and they all had their own parties anyway. "We can get a train to take us to Fagernes," said Jake. "I reckon it to be about 10 hours' journey from Oslo. Then we'll see if we can get horses and strike away for the mountains. You can ride, can't you, Dick?" "Sure I can ride," I said, but his words seemed nonsense to me, and the air was very thick, and his voice was coming from a long way away. I did not know how to stop myself from smiling. "We ought to get out to the glaciers somehow," said Jake, "but that's right north in another group of fjords. See, here's Sandene, and there's the Brickstall Glacier we ought to see." "Oh, shut up," I thought. "Who cares?" And I tried to keep my eyes focused on something on the table, but they kept wandering away to the corner of the room, where there were a couple of men and an ugly girl who had something queer on her hat. Not that it mattered to me, but the light caught it, and it was aggravating not to know. And some damn full orchestra started, which muddled itself up with the sound of Jake's voice and the movement of a passing waiter. I began to wish I hadn't drunk so much, but it was too late now, and perhaps none of this was going on really at all, but I was asleep and it was happening in my imagination. It would have been a relief to sweep the things off the table and stretch out my arms, and then lay my face in my hands and not bother any more. There was no fun in getting drunk this way. I ought to be talking a lot, or being amusing, or singing from sheer joy and the strength of life. I knew that Jake would be able to drink anything, and even then not show the slightest sign, but walk 20 miles or climb a mountain, or maybe go out laughing and kill a fellow. I steadied my hands on the table and looked across at him, but his face did not seem to hang at the right angle, and I wondered if it was he who smiled so stupidly, or myself reflected in the glass opposite. "You sit quiet a while," he said, "or do you want me to take you home?" There was not any need to laugh at me like that, I thought. "Here, I'm not drunk," I said. "That's fine," he said. "You think because I've lived all my bloody life buried in England I don't know anything," I went on. I supposed it was my voice talking loudly, but was not sure. It did not seem to matter whose it was. "Never mind about all that," said Jake. The silly idiot was treating me like a child. "I bloody well do mind," I said. "What sort of fun do you think I'm getting out of this? You sit there grinning at me with your big face. I know a hell of a lot, I do. Listen here. My father's a damned old scoundrel, isn't he? I've told you about him, haven't I? He's just a damned old scoundrel who thinks because he can write a whole lot of rotten poetry he can tell me what to do." "Shut up, Dick," said Jake. "If you don't sit quiet, I'll take you out of here." "I'll go when I bloody well choose and not before. You can't tell me what to do any more than my father. And he does write damned rotten poetry. I could write better than him if I wanted to. Do you say I can't write, Jake?" "I don't mind, Dick. Tell me about it another time." I showed my father what I'd written. I chucked it down on the desk in front of him. "Read that," I said, and he took hold of it in his hands. He didn't know what was coming, and he read it out loud, Jake. "I tell you, I can bloody well write if I want to. I don't care what my father thinks. My poem was all about wanting to sleep with a woman and the feeling you get." "Yes, Dick, I know." "My father didn't understand a word. He's about 70. What should he care, Jake? He's a damned old scoundrel, isn't he? Listen, I wrote another poem, too." "Shut up." "I won't shut up. Why should I? I want to talk about women and things. You don't ever want to. You're just damn sexless, that's what you are. Here, you think I'm drunk, don't you? You think I'm drunk. So you are, Dick. No, I'm not. Listen, I want to go to all sorts of places and do things. I want to be famous one day, Jake. I'll know a hell of a lot then. Listen, I want to go to Mexico or somewhere and drive cattle and make a whole packet of money and then come back to Europe and bust it all in Paris on women. Here, you think I'm mad, don't you? No, Dick, only young. That's a damned offensive remark anyway. I'm not young. Listen, I'm going to write a book one day. Of course you are. Here, this isn't much of a place. What sort of a town do you think Oslo is? It's a bloody dull town, isn't it, Jake? No girls, nothing. Come on, let's start a fight. Let's get knocking people about. I'm going to hit the red thing off that girl's hat. Here, I wish the boys were in this crowd. Come on, let's start something. I remember getting up, but there did not seem to be any floor, and the door was zigzagging away in the corner. I could not get the feel of my feet at all. Here, let go my arm, I said to Jake. Steady, Dick, he said. I was not sure whether I wanted to cry or to burst out laughing. Come on, fight, I shouted. Let's start a bloody good row. A whole crowd of people got up and began knocking into me. Walk straight, you damn fool, said Jake. The door crashed into my face, hurting like hell. Everyone was being unfair. It wasn't my fault. I sat down on the pavement outside, holding on to the curb. When I shut my eyes, it felt as though somebody was swinging me upside down by my heels. Here, I'm going to be sick, I said. And it seemed to me that life was not such a grand thing, after all.